Gary Vaynerchuk is a serial entrepreneur, investor, one of the most sought-after public speakers alive today, and a 4-time New York Times best-selling author. He went from being born in the Soviet Union, living in a studio apartment with 8 other family members, to building a net worth of $160 million. And today we're going to learn his best advice on how you can stop complaining and start living. Rise and shine, it's espresso time.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and every morning I bring you a shot of espresso to help you believe in yourself more and start your day with confidence. So good morning, I believe in you, and let's do this. Over to you, Gary Vaynerchuk.
When I watch what people complain about, it breaks my heart because they completely lack perspective. And I genuinely believe my happiness and optimism comes from my perspective. Even in political unrest times like right now, a lot of people are very bent out of shape, but the reality is that it's just never been better to be a human being. That's just the truth, that's just data, that's reality. And yeah, I mean, it's just a very fun time to be alive. So much going on. The internet is starting to hit maturity. Look what we're doing right now. This right now, right, would have cost millions of dollars in production and distribution to have the amount of people who watch this just 15 years ago. like, you know, I just think it's very interesting times. And I was saying something to a friend the other day. I was like, could you imagine if you told a parent 15 years ago, hey parent, what you're gonna wanna do in 15 years, instead of buying a kid, your 16-year-old, a car, you're gonna convince your 16-year-old daughter to go into a stranger's car every single day. You're gonna pay for your 16-year-old daughter to go into a stranger's car every single day, and you will think that's normal and actually safer than buying that kid a car. That's literally what we're living in now. High net worth individuals in America are preferring to give their kids unlimited Uber to buying a car because they don't want them drinking and driving, they don't trust their driving, and literally they think it's safer for their 16, 17-year-old to go into a stranger's car than to drive themselves. That's sacrilege 15 years ago. Online dating 20 years ago. The weirdest, nerdiest, you're thinking 300-pound white dude in the basement of a kid's car, now it's just completely standard. I mean, if you add in sliding into people's DM on Instagram, it's like 89% of relationships, right? So, you know, I think that we are, I think we're going through a huge transition because all of us, even thought leaders, are grossly underestimating the internet itself, and we're hitting scale, right? We now all are on at all times, and this is now the beginning. I was joking while I was working out this morning to D-Rock. I'm like, D-Rock, you're gonna get replaced by like a Pokemon ball. Like, I'm gonna throw it up. Like, people in 20 years are literally gonna throw something up, it's just gonna hover 360 and film everything they're doing. I mean, like, it's just an incredible time. And I think the way people look at the world right now, because it's such an incredible time, is actually the quickest tell to who they are. If you think it sucks or it's bad, you have losing, pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic, winning DNA. And I believe that to be true.
Optimism isn't a DNA thing. You weren't born optimistic or pessimistic. It's environmental. You can change it. You can choose to change it, to change you, to become more optimistic. And like any change, it's a journey. It takes time. But you can be in a totally different place 1 year from now if you chose to. Or you can stay exactly where you are right now. It's a choice. It's your choice. Choose powerfully. So I haven't told this story in a while, but one of the biggest brand deals that I did for my YouTube channel as I was getting going was with a company called Sage. And Sage, if you don't know, does accounting software. They're one of the biggest companies out of the UK. And the deal was that I would do a monthly live session on my YouTube channel with the president of the company, this multi-billion-dollar company, Stephen Kelly. And I remember after I closed the deal, I was driving with my dad. He was gonna go pick up a new Jeep, and we had to drive far out of the city for some reason. And I was driving with him, and I just told him about the deal that I closed. And he said, man, how did you have the confidence to do that? Because on this call was not just gonna be me interviewing him, it was us taking questions from my audience, and then he would answer and I would answer. So we'd be equals. And he just was trying to understand, how did I get the confidence to be seen as in my own head as an equal to this guy who has all these employees and $1 billion plus company. And he was right. You know, the Evan of 5 years prior would have been too humble, too afraid, too low self-esteem to think that I would even be close to being on par. That I would just default to thinking, well, this person is the expert, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, so I can't say yes to this deal. I would have been too humble to a fault. You know, humility is great, but it can also really hold you back. That's what I've been struggling with a lot over my career. So the Evan 5 years prior would have been too afraid to take that deal, wouldn't have even suggested it because I would have felt not good enough. So what changed? Like, what happened in those past 5 years leading up to that deal? What was the difference? Well, the difference was my YouTube channel. The difference was me every single day surrounding myself with people who had done more than me. I was surrounding myself with Steve Jobs and Gary Vaynerchuk and Kanye West and all the people that I profiled on my channel. It was that consistent drive to every single day seep some extra knowledge into my head. And I didn't notice it on the day-to-day. There's some days that I felt motivated. I might watch a Gary Vee video and get all pumped up and ready to go. But I didn't notice it on a day-to-day basis. What happened though is if you do anything for a sustained period of time, right? If you diet for a sustained period of time or you work out for a sustained period of time, you see the benefits, right? You may not notice it. One trip to the gym, you're not gonna notice it the next day. But if you do a trip to the gym every day in 3 months, you'll start to see, wow, I've made some big gains. The same thing works on your mindset. The same thing works on your knowledge set. So I didn't see it on a day-to-day basis, but when I look back 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, I saw big gains. And so the difference between who I used to be, if this somebody was super humble and to a fault and not feeling good enough, to the person who felt worthy of taking on this kind of deal and doing a live Q&A with the president of some giant company, the difference in those 5 years was me consuming my own content, was my YouTube channels. And so it's possible. Whatever you feel is your restriction, what holding you back, the mindset shift you want to make, the habit shift you want to make, it may not be what your parents believe. My parents on the wall behind me here, and they taught me that I was Evan Castrilli Carmichael, I could do anything that I believe that I can, but I've gone in a totally different path than they have. My goal is to be like my parents from a human standpoint, but not from an entrepreneur point of view, because they weren't entrepreneurs. And so it's finding mentors and finding heroes. And the more you're around them, the more the way they think, the way they act, the way they do will seep into you to help you become that best version of you. Now I've got a 3-step process that will help you model that success and seep it into your life. But before that, if you want to learn how to have unstoppable confidence, self-love, and motivation, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
The reason people aren't patient is they value other people's opinions too much. In a success world, please understand that success is happiness, not net dollars in. My ability to only be comfortable in massive chaos has been my biggest asset as an entrepreneur. Like, I would never take a note. Like, that scares the piss out of me what these 3 people are doing right now.
Okay, so how do we do it? How do we become more optimistic? How do we become like our heroes? 3 steps, let's go. Step number 1 is figure out your who. In my book, Built to Serve, I have a 3-step process, right? Step 1 is who, then it's why, and then it's how. But your who is your single most important core value. What is your single most important core value that is more important than anything else? When you find that, then it gives you clarity. It gives you a roadmap. It gives you a compass for the rest of your life. So mine is believe. I want to be surrounded by people who believe. I want to be mentored by people who believe in greater things than what I believe in right now, right? I want to be around more belief. I need that more in my life. For you, what is the single most important core value? You can pick up the book and go through the exercise, or just off the top of your head right now. Don't worry about it being perfect yet. What is, if you had to pick one value above everything else, what would you write down for you right now today? Step number 2 is which people are best living your who. So if I had to pick believe, I look at who are the people who are living believe. And it's everybody that I've featured on my channel, right? It's Gary Vee. Gary Vee believes, right? He believes in himself. He believes in others. He believes in his ability to have a big impact. He wants to be the greatest entrepreneur of all time. He believes. And so I want to be around more Gary Vee content, right? For you, who are the people, single person or multiple people, who are best examples of living the value that you want to live more of. And then step number 3 is how can you be around them daily? For you to make that shift, for you to really make that shift, you need to be around them daily. So if you watch Gary V videos every day, guess what? You're gonna start thinking like Gary. You're gonna start developing his mindset. You're gonna start seeing situations the same way he sees situations. You're gonna start seeing negativity and dealing with it how he would deal with it. He's gonna start to make you think like he thinks, which is the goal, right? You wanna tap his mindset. If the person you look up to the most is Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey or Kanye West or Steve Jobs or whoever, they've got lots of content. Whether it's videos, I'm a visual learner, so I love videos the most, but whether it's videos or books or podcasts, there's lots of content out there, and you need to be around it daily, because the people in your life right now, chances are whatever you pick as your most important core value, you're already ahead of everybody around you. If you picked freedom, or you picked inspire, or you pick motivate as your one word, your who, chances are you're already doing that better than your inner circle. You're doing it more than your parents. You're doing it more than your siblings. You're doing it more than the friends you grew up with. You're the person that people are coming to for advice on how to do that. You're already the big fish in your little pond for that thing. But you know you can do way more. You know you can do way more. You want to get way up here. So you have to surround yourself with that every single day. Of your heroes, of the people who are living it. Watch their videos, read their books, listen to their podcasts every single day. Make it part of your daily routine. And slowly, bit by bit, day by day, they will shift your thinking. They will give you more courage. They will give you more boldness. And you'll see your life take dramatic steps forward. Now, I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know, who is one person for you that you look up to, that you can't wait for their next video to drop or their next book to drop, that inspires you to no end? Who is that person that you need to make part of your daily life? Put it down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching, you made it this far in a video, Believe Nation, we don't just watch videos, we do something about it. Give me a hashtag Believe and tell me where you're from if you promise to take action after watching this video, because I want to celebrate you.
I have a good living now, for me, where I'm at in my life. I was out on a fire in Colorado, and we were digging fire line on this, like 50%, like it was like on the side of a daggone mountain.
Yeah.
And we're trying to keep the fire from moving, and we're digging this fire line 14 inches, or my fault, 18 inches wide, 3 miles long, 12 of us digging. And it is the hardest work. You make $12 an hour.
Wow.
Okay? Nothing. You set up your shop. Like, when you're done digging, you just pretty much lay down, you go to sleep, and you get up and you dig some more.
Really?
This happens for 2 weeks long.
What are you digging? It's like a hole. You're
So
digging a line.
you're trying to get down to a mineral source. So you're trying to get down to the earth. So that if that fire is moving, it can't burn dirt.
Really?
So
It's
you're
just goes
moving
deep
fuels.
enough. Got it.
So not only are you digging, you're cutting down trees. It's hard work. But the moral of the story is, I'm 43. Don't need to do it at all. This is why I do it.
You're making money. Yeah.
I'm making money. I have a good life. I don't need to do it. And everybody asks me why I do it. This is why. This 21-year-old kid was out there, and he wanted a pair of running shoes. That's all he wanted was a pair of running shoes. 60, 70, 100 bucks, whatever. You know, easy for us.
Yeah.
Running shoes. He looked up at the mountain that we had been on for days digging this fire line. And he said, that'd take me 5 or 6 hours of work to buy those shoes. He said, I'm not going to buy them. It's the perspective of life. That perspective of life right there, that is the value that we lose. When things start to come so easy in life, it's the perspective that 21-year-old had. He looked up at that mountain and thought, he looked at his hands, he looked at the amount of hours of pulling that Pulaski, that tool, and raking that ground, and then cutting those trees and moving them, and that hours of work. He looked at his feet and said, these old shoes would do. It's that perspective in life that we lose. And that story to most people may not mean anything. It's that story I always want to have in my life. You cannot lose perspective of where you've come in life.
Yeah.
Evan, thank you so much for having a couple seconds and being able to tell the Believe Nation a little bit about Empathy Wines. It means a lot to me that you would take this valuable real estate and time on your channel to give me some love. It means a lot. It's just good karma points, and so you're awesome. Thank you. Believe Nation, if you're into wine at all, go to empathywines.com. My whole career's work was poured into producing a wine that rivaled $40 to $60 wine for 20 bucks a bottle. I'm just super excited about this subscription-based wine business. You can order 3, 6, or 12 bottles in subscription form, rosé, white, red. If you search on Instagram or Twitter, you will be blown away. People are literally like, I don't even like Gary Vee, but the wine's good. Super proud of the effort. Thanks, Evan, for the time. Wishing you guys all happy and healthy.
If you want to learn how to market on social media like Gary Vee, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.